I may get controversy for this, but I think it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I'll give it a solid 8. Heyo, what's popping, guys? Welcome back to the Just Your Ordinary Movie podcast. Today I'm with Christo and we're going to make a review of the new Top Gun movie.
And compared to the old one. And then we're also going to do 2 Should You Watch segments.
Because a couple of series came out, Stranger Things and Miss Marvel.
Yes, so we're going to do Should You Watch Stranger Things? Max has watched it and I haven't. And then we're going to do Should You Watch Miss Marvel? I've watched it and Max hasn't. And then we're going to do our review of Top Gun Maverick and how we think it compares to the original.
Also, I wanted to say, just to add a quick note, Umbrella Academy Season 3 just came out, so if you want, you can contact us and we can make another episode about it. That's only if you contact us.
Yes, if you want a review of the Umbrella Academy Season 3, send us an email at themoviesimps@gmail.com. That's TheMovieSimps@gmail.com.
Be proactive and contact us. Without further ado, let's begin with this podcast.
Yeah, so first segment, should you watch Stranger Things? So how this is gonna work is that I'm gonna ask some questions and Max is gonna answer them, and in the end we're going to do kind of a, what's the word? It's we're gonna do a consensus of should you watch it or not. So just to clarify, this is Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 1.
No spoilers.
So the first question I wanted to ask, since horror is really not my genre, is it scary?
Well, I hoped it was. It wasn't scary. Not the 4th season. The first season, in my opinion, is the best and it's the most horrifying one. And after that, the show just screw up a little.
Well, yeah, I actually watched the first season and I did like the scary elements of it, yes.
What I think really carries Season 4 is the nostalgia of the music, characters, you know, the 80s a lot, because that's when the season takes place. So yeah, the nostalgia of the Stranger Things universe is really strong.
For my second question, I wanted to ask, since the story of this season, like what I know basically without spoiling, is some kids trying to escape a monster by listening to music. Does it come off as too cheesy, or do they play it off like treat themselves seriously?
Well, I think this was in Season 3, right? When they play the song while they... Yeah, it is cheesy. Yeah, but, you know, that's Stranger Things. It's not like being realistic or something. It just... thriller, comedy, horror, something like this, you know.
Yes. I think it's like a thriller series. I do like that genre, so I'm going to try and watch it. It's just a lot of time. I have a few more questions. First one, do you see any real character development in this? Because I've heard that the last season has had problems with that.
Well, I think the last season developed the characters the most. Of course, it introduced some new characters, but many of the old characters were either left without almost no screen time, and so for them, there was no development. But others, like the main character 11, also we have Mike, those characters, well, they had a huge development. They're in their teenage years, and so I think the experience brings them a lot of, you know, new beliefs and motives for future actions.
Yes, so, well, maybe I heard that about the second season, because the way it sounded does sound logical. The first season of Stranger Things was really good. I never got around to watching the second or third, but first one was really good. Do you think this one lives up to the hype created by the first one?
Nope.
Do any of the other ones do?
No. It just, if you're a very huge fan, yeah. And if you want also to get bitches, of course, you can censor that. I don't want the episode to be explicit. But it's just that a lot of teenage girls do watch Stranger Things and enjoy it. And so by watching it, you can, you know, that's a secret. You can talk to many girls about it.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, it doesn't live up to the expectations.
Yeah, but like, would you say that it's better than some other seasons that have come out in the past?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's like the second best season, in my personal opinion.
Next to season one.
Yeah, next season one. So far, that's only volume one.
Yes. So, can you clear up some of the volume stuff for me? How many episodes are in each volume? How long are they?
Okay, yeah, that's very important. So usually a Stranger Things season has 8 episodes or 9, and they're around 50 minutes. This season, it's not the last season, but it is split into 2 volumes. The first volume is 7 series, around 1 hour and 20 minutes
Each?
yeah. And the
Wow,
second
that's
volume
long.
is only 2 episodes, and they're 2 hours long.
Oh my god, that is so much. That's like feature films each.
It's a lot, and that's not the last season. Yeah, that's the strangest part.
Well, it seems Netflix really is giving everything they got on this, because I mean that kind of length. It is kind of the thing that made Netflix. So I do get it, but
It contributed a lot. Yeah,
yes, is the series like high budget or?
yeah. There's a lot of effects. Also, I think the actors became really popular because of the very same show.
Oh yes, Millie Bobby Brown definitely have had her raise from that. Noah Schnapp.
Finn
kind of.
Wolfhard, yeah, Noah Schnapp. Also, Winona Ryder is starring. We have
Winona Ryder has been a famous actress for
yeah
as long as I
the other
remember.
guy. What was his name? Tom. He played Jim Hopper.
Yeah, I know who the guy is.
Dave, something Dave.
Yeah, he was the guy that I just call him like Peacemaker lookalike, but yeah, I don't remember anything from Black Widow. That movie was bad.
It was awful. Let's not bring bad memories. Yeah.
So now I'm gonna like do kind of a consensus. So let me just ask you: do you think I should watch Stranger Things season 4, volume 1?
If you have the time and dedication, then yes, I think it won't be a waste of time. It will be worth it. But if you have a very busy schedule, then no, it will waste your time. Do something more productive than Netflix and chill. I'm a very hardcore movie fan, but I still think that Netflix and chill is a waste of time, and that's why I don't do it.
I do too. The only time I can really kind of do that is when I'm somewhere where I have no internet. I just download a bunch of stuff on my streaming platforms, and I just like binge it. Watched this really good show called Only Murders in the Building on Disney Plus recently. It's a fun thing to do, but I never just like waste some of my actual time like wasted on that. I only do it when I have like tons of free time. So, am I going to watch it? Probably for these reasons. Like you said, you can talk to a lot of people about it. Also, it's going to be pretty lame if Volume 2 comes out and it's amazing and everyone's talking about it. And I can't, like, watch it because I haven't watched Volume 1. So, I'll A, watch it, or B, watch a recap of it. I think the thriller genre is also really interesting. And after it's been a while since I saw season 1. It'll be interesting to see how these characters have changed and what the whole thing's about.
Well, I will really be glad if you could watch it. Of course, you might probably not be able, but still, for volume 2, so that we can discuss it in a future episode.
Well, yeah, what I think I'll do is I'll watch the first episode, and if I like it, I'll go on. If I don't, I'll just like watch a detailed recap of it.
Well, it's still fine.
Yeah, it is. We can do a future episode, but I believe you're going away, so we won't be able to record for a while.
I mentioned the Umbrella Academy a while ago, and those two series, they're very alike. And so I want to say that just the Umbrella Academy is taking a very better direction by still keeping the quality very high.
Yeah. So speaking of shows that are good, I don't want to like go way too off topic here, but I haven't watched The Boys. I feel like it's some sort of like good Marvel DC ripoff, but I'm hearing the most amazing things about the latest episode called Herogasm, and the show in general. Like if it's as good as it sounds, whoa,
it is amazing. I haven't watched it, the whole show, because I don't have Amazon Prime, but one of my friends has it, and so I was on his birthday party and we watched like 3 episodes, 4 episodes. Bro, that show is amazing. I don't know what they're doing. And it's not a Marvel and DC ripoff. I think it's an original comic that was dating way before.
Yes, yes. Well, no, it wasn't way before, because, like, obviously they have motivation from that, but, like, around the same time. Like, I'm talking heroes like Homelander and the other guy. They are, like, based on some Marvel and DC superheroes, and honestly, that's fine. Like, if they're different enough to not be considered a ripoff, I think that makes the show great on its own.
Well, I should watch it, definitely.
Oh, same. Yeah, and the other show I just wanted to briefly mention is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi's 5th episode, so the second to last, was good, and then episode 6 just blew me away. Like, I know you shouldn't generally wait for the end of a show for it to become good, but Obi-Wan, oh my god.
Well, the first episode lost me, so I probably won't watch it. You know,
it gets progressively better until episode 6 is just this masterpiece. There are a few scenes which are just so strong, both emotionally and in every sense you can imagine.
Well, anyways, I'm glad that you consider watching Stranger Things. Let's see if I will watch Miss Marvel.
Yeah, so let's get into that segment.
So, Miss Marvel, for those of you that don't know, is the latest Marvel production, and it's also the latest Disney Plus production, right?
Yes, and this is weird, but it's also the highest rated Disney production on Rotten Tomatoes now, with
Really?
Black Panther being the second. Yeah, which I don't really understand,
What
but
was the
like
score?
I said,
What's the score?
96, which is ridiculous. It does not deserve a 96.
Why is that? Have you read any reviews?
I've watched it. Like, I can do my own reviews, but you can start asking the questions and I'll tell you why I don't think it's that good.
Well, why don't you think it's that good? It isn't that good.
To be honest, it's just, like, seems kind of boring to me, because it's just this, like, kid superhero show that I get why people like it. It has all the things you'd want, but at the end it's just boring to watch, in my opinion.
Well, is it like those Disney Channel, way back at 2012?
Then I like those even more, because Miss Marvel, like, I have to admit the story's getting better. It has everything you want in a Marvel show. It has some unique qualities which I love about it. And then it's just boring to watch, generally. Like, episode 1 was boring ass.
But why is that? The story isn't exciting. You don't care about the characters enough. Why is that?
Well, no, not that I care. I just don't think there's enough stakes for me to care for them. Like, it's just some kids messing around. That's what it comes off as. And then you have this ridiculous story, which is just not the slightest bit believable.
I see. And is it vital for the MCU as a whole, or is it connected?
So far, well, it's definitely connected. It's an MCU show, but so far we have had some revelations in that show that might change the MCU as a whole.
Oh, that big! It's that big of a show in the MCU.
Well, no, I don't think the actual show has that relevance, but some things that are shown in the show.
I see. Okay.
I'll actually say this because this is not an actual spoiler. More different dimensions exist, and we get, like, to know about another one, or maybe more dimensions.
Dimensions, like in the multiverse dimensions, or
no. I think it's just another dimension, like, not another parallel universe, just another dimension, which would be very interesting. It's like you know what the show's trying to do? It's trying to be because it's about Muslim people, obviously, and I don't mind that. I actually think it's a great key into those people's culture, but, like, the show is trying to be all about Muslim culture, and, like, have the story revolve around not only a superhero who is Muslim, but a superhero whose powers come through some, like, story about Muslim gods and stuff, which is, it's basically what Moon Knight did for Egyptian mythology, but Moon Knight kind of worked. This kind of didn't, for me at least. People seem to love it, which is weird.
Well, I think that do you know what woke culture is?
Oh, no.
Basically, let me just get the right description. I don't want to mess this up. Woke culture. Well, that is alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. Basically, that it means that you should provide any political or cultural sense to the movie and the story to make it more, again, politically correct, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I do
which
know
is
what that is. I've
basically
seen
what
many examples
movies
of it.
do nowadays. I don't
Yes.
have a problem with that, but if it doesn't contribute to the story, then don't put it, okay?
That's definitely
Yeah.
what I don't mind the scenes of them doing religious stuff. I mind that the whole story is centered around stuff from like Muslim mythology, which kind of worked with Egyptian mythology, but this just doesn't do it for me. It's not compelling enough. The stakes are not high enough.
Well,
I don't know.
maybe they
Characters
just
don't do
didn't put
for
it in
me either.
any interesting way, but still, if you're making your character Muslim only for the sake of having Muslim viewers, well, I don't think that's enough. You know, you should create a compelling story, and that's what I think
Yes.
Marvel is missing with all of their
Yeah,
recent productions.
That
I hope
really
Thor,
happens a lot.
Love and Thunder. I hope this turns out great.
Yeah, well, without being racist, isn't that like the reason why Black Panther has like an Oscar? It's not that good. Just centers around a black guy and his culture.
Oh, I liked Black Panther, but still, yeah, that's when Marvel became woke.
I liked it, but it is not even scratching the surface of my top 5 MCU movies. And it's like the most highly rated production. It's won an Oscar. I don't know about that.
Well, it's in my top 5 movies, but still, it's not in the top 3.
I don't know if it's in the top 5, but Iron Man is better, and that's kind of where we're at for me.
Well, if the show is boring, then I probably won't encourage anybody to watch Miss Marvel. Of course, I haven't watched it, but still, I don't think that you should literally waste your time doing something that you won't even enjoy, and it's, you know, not really important to watch it.
I get your point, but I think that maybe some people should try it, because I've heard these like huge content creators talk about it with such enthusiasm, so maybe it's just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah,
as a
maybe it's not for
viewer.
everybody.
Yes.
That can also be the case, but still, my philosophy in life is to do only the important stuff, the ones that really develop you. I really prepare my movies which are meaningful, and I only watch them. The other ones, action comedies, I watch them only at times when I have nothing to do. And so I want my viewers to be very thoughtful people. So don't waste your time on things that aren't important at all, okay?
I agree with you perfectly.
That's the reason why I won't watch Miss Marvel.
Speaking of genres, you know what really isn't my genre? Action. I very rarely have watched an action movie and genuinely not been bored out of my life.
Well, you know, thank you for mentioning that. Top Gun was an action movie, and it was actually really good. I mean, the second part.
It's probably the first good action movie I've seen in the last 2-3 years. Like, I'm not talking the one that like I've watched, the ones that's come out. So without further ado, let's slide into our third and main segment of the episode, Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun. Well, to be honest with you, I haven't watched the first part until I watched the second one. So many people say there was a lot of nostalgia, and that's why they really, really liked Top Gun, the second part, Maverick. But I haven't watched the first part until, of course, I went to the cinema. So there wasn't any nostalgia with me. But still, I really enjoyed the movie.
Okay, so I think how we should do this is first we can talk about the first Top Gun movie and when we thought of it, because that will help us better like understand the comparison between the two.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so Top Gun is a movie that I grew up with. My dad, being the Top Gun fan he's always like watched it when it's on TV, and I've watched along, so I've always known what the basic plot revolves around. One problem I had with rewatching it like a few months ago, you can never really understand what's going on. It's kind of complicated.
Exactly. I started watching this movie and I was like, is this really that good? Because I couldn't understand anything happening in the movie. The action sequences, which is basically the main thing. I only saw people's faces blurred in airplanes, and I couldn't see where those airplanes were.
Yeah, me neither. But one thing that was good about it was the practical effects. Like it looks flawless, and with a movie revolving around airplanes made in the 80s, that is an actual rarity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the 80s, that's like 40 years ago. Can you imagine
Almost.
how much we progressed in the last 2 years? Now imagine for the last 40. They made this
wow movie. Well, yeah, even though the action sequences were not all that for me, I think it had some great moments, especially probably my favorite is Tom Cruise and the guy who plays Goose singing Great Balls of Fire.
Iconic.
It has probably the most iconic soundtrack for me. I mean, some of these songs just... Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins is what I imagine when you say Air Force. Take My Breath Away by Berlin, that's one of the most iconic ballads.
Basically, what he's trying to say is that when you hear those songs in such a context, they hit different.
Yeah, but like the soundtrack is perfect, I think, for the original Top Gun, and that like the actual score by Harold Faltermeyer was also good. Like, I think this is the first movie, along with Top Gun Maverick, which I've actually like Googled and listened to the soundtrack after coming out of the theater.
Well, to be honest, the theme of the movie is kind of weird. It's good once you get to like it, but it's weird.
Oh, the Top Gun anthem, the one that goes like dun.
Kind of no rhythm to it, you know.
Well, yeah, but once you get to know it, it's nice. And for me and for my dad, it brings a lot of nostalgia. Like he almost teared up when he heard those first few notes in the theater, because like we went to see it on opening night, and we also saw it 4DX.
I also watched it 4DX.
4DX was really nice,
the experience, right? Yeah. I mean, airplanes, 4DX.
So for Top Gun Maverick, our opinions of the movie, we'll get into that a bit later. I wanted to talk about what we think of like the actors team, the cast, because I think it was great.
Is this the movie that made Tom Cruise famous?
The original Top Gun? Yes, it is. It also really made aviator sunglasses famous, but Tom Cruise's claim to fame is basically this. He was like in a few things before this, but this is what really kicked him off.
For the casting director, he chose someone that isn't famous at all, didn't have any experience, and I think he made some really good casting choices.
Oh yeah. Well, first, before getting into the cast, I want to like pay my respects to Tom Cruise. What an amazing, cool, just such a cool guy for like all the dedication he has to doing his own stunts at like 60. All that dedication to the practical effect. Just I sit in awe and dream to one day be half the man he is, really.
He also is in great shape.
He's in great shape. He does not look like he's 60.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, for me, the only surprise in the casting was Kelly McGillis, who played Charlie, his love interest in the first movie, not coming back.
Who's that?
The actress, you mean?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Kelly McGillis.
I didn't know her by the name.
Did you like the casting decisions for all of the like main aviators in this new movie?
I forgot his name, but yeah, the one that played in War Dogs, this guy, he was amazing. Also.
I haven't watched that movie. Like, can you give me some kind of pointer?
Yeah, the one with the mustache. Goose.
Oh,
Goose.
Rooster.
Yeah.
It's Goose's son.
Yeah, Goose's son.
Rooster.
Yeah, but he also goes by the name Goose, right?
No, he goes by Rooster.
Rooster, okay. Yeah, Rooster, exactly. What's the actor's name?
The actor's name is Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller. This guy, one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, also a surprisingly good singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so out of this movie, I think all the casting was great. I really enjoyed the character Bob. I think he was great.
Bob was great.
Well, actually, I'm kind of fresh because I saw the movie for the bajillionth time, yesterday.
You know what's the thing? There isn't so many actors playing in the movie. The story revolves mainly again around how many? 5 actors, cast members, characters.
I think that's a good thing because having too much characters.
Yeah,
can really
exactly. I
damage the
think
story.
that this movie really succeeded in telling the story it has to offer. Just revolving around character development more than what is going to happen.
Yeah, and also honorable mention, the woman who played Phoenix, I believe was her call sign, also did a great job. fitting in with all the guys.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there was also woke culture in this movie, as I said. There is a woman in the what is this? Aviotopsy.
Naval.
Yeah, something around
Naval.
the Navy.
So yeah. Well, yes, I get that, but I think it was acceptable because she did a great job.
She did a really great job. You know, usually women don't work those jobs.
Yeah, but like
she did a really good job, and it didn't feel so unnatural like it usually is with Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think she played her role well enough to like for viewers to forget about that and just enjoy the movie for what it really is. What do you think of the practical effects for this movie?
Practical effect. Can you remind me what practical effect was?
Everything in this movie is practical. No CGI. Absolutely no CGI in the entire movie.
You shooting me? What about the bombs? You know, the explosions?
No. That's all real. The only CGI thing is do you remember when like the enemy 5th generation fighters?
Yeah.
That's a Su-57 Felon. That's Russia's 5th generation fighter. They're very limited and obviously Russian, so they couldn't get their hands on any. So they just used like some dummy aircraft and then did a CGI recreation.
I also think that
still
at the beginning, you know, he was in this really, really fast airplane.
Oh, the Dark Star. Well, the Dark Star, again, it's fictional. This is actually really interesting. The most legendary spy plane in American history, the Lockheed Martin SR-71 Blackbird, it's known for being really fast and stuff. The same company who made it are actually developing its successor, SR-72, and this is actually a render of what the SR-72 will look like when it's finished. So Lockheed Martin actually made the mock-up for the Dark Star themselves.
Well, it's still CGI, right?
So the actual like when they're drawing it on the ground and stuff, it's not CGI. It's like an actual prop. When it's flying in the air, that's again there is a plane flying in the air. It's just not the Dark Star, as there is no flyable Dark Star. It was CGI'd over another plane. That's all of the CGI in the movie. I kid you not.
Yeah, I trust you. I mean, most of it was, you know, if you think about it, the action sequences were around 40% of the movie, right?
Yes.
How much time do you think they spent on filming them? Because if there actually isn't any CGI, then I think that they should have retaken all the bombings, for example. Also the one where they were going down, almost collapsing into the ground scene.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That should have taken many retakes.
Took many and many. So actually, and money as well. I heard that the director of the movie, Joseph Kosinski, also a Chad, by the way, along with Tom Cruise especially. So Joseph Kosinski, you know what an aircraft carrier is, right?
Yeah.
So he wanted to get the opening shot, which matches the first movie's opening shot, obviously, of all the planes flying off the carrier. But to get like that kind of lighting, they had to turn the carrier around, and the guy was the CEO of the carrier was like, that will cost $20,000. So Joseph Kosinski just wrote him a check for $20,000. He turned the carrier around, and they shot the sequence.
Actually, from his own money.
I don't know if it was his own money, but he did do that.
Why? Why is it $20,000?
Well, an aircraft carrier is A, extremely heavy, B, extremely expensive to fuel, but the real expense here is these planes that are launching off it. Do you know how much an F-35 costs per hour to fly?
How much?
$40,000.
You're shitting me. Really? 40,000?
Well, the F-35 is the most advanced fighter jet in the world. Yes, 40,000. So all of the sequences that you saw.
Just Tom Cruise actually learned how to fly a plane, one of those.
So
R-35 or whatever, F-35.
Well, the planes they fly, that's not F-35s, that's F-18s. I'll explain that in a second. But Tom Cruise can actually fly a plane, but he's not in the Navy, so he can't just fly. Do you know how much an F-18 costs, like per unit? It's like $80 million per unit, so he can't just go around flying that. So what they did is they got dual seaters, and there was a guy in the front plane driving the plane, and Tom Cruise was like still in the back, and he was they shot his actual reactions to those maneuvers and stuff. He was just like in the back seat.
Yeah, I see. And they CGI. Well, it's not CGI, but they made him look as if he's in the front.
Well, the only thing they had to change, I think, is the reflections in this like helmet, because that's all reflective surfaces. And
Yeah.
stuff,
Okay. Yeah, that's also true.
But that's still really cool because like they actually did put like a 9G maneuver. Do you know what 9Gs is?
Well, yeah, it's like turning upside down, like a nine.
No. No. G is the force of gravity. So,
Okay.
do you know when you're flying like in an airliner, when you take off, like for a second you feel a slight push, like your body's pressed down hard.
Okay. Yeah.
That is you experiencing more, like for example, twice the force of gravity on your body. So you weigh twice is what you regularly weigh, and that's crushing your body.
Oh.
9Gs is 9 times the force of gravity. So you weigh close to 2,000 kilograms. And like the guy, like Tom Cruise said it, your spine crushing your skull, barely, your brain barely surviving. And people black out during this. Like, this is
Yeah, it was
very
part
tough.
of the movie. Yeah.
That's a very tough feat.
And honestly, it's very hard when you're starting to black out, not to black out and keep control. You know, in the movie they didn't put a lot of thought into that, but not thought, focus. But it is actually really hard not to black out.
Very. But, well, when you're a Top Gun graduate, like you graduated at the top of the class, you are the best of the best. So
Yeah, but still, you're unconscious of your body at that certain moment.
well, if you black out, yes. If you don't black out, you are still conscious, but you're fighting not blacking out.
Yeah, okay. Fair point.
Yeah, so the reason they fly F-18s, which is a slightly older aircraft, is they actually have a really good fictional explanation of it. Like they say, they can't use the F-22 because it's not carrier compatible. So that leaves the newest aircraft that can do it, the F-18 and the F-35. They can only do it in an F-18 because it's the only one. It's a double-seater, basically. There is a double-seater. There is no F-35 double-seater. So at least they do a good job of fictionally clearing up why they're doing this.
Well, I don't think it was really important, but still, yeah, for the fans and nerds out there, I think it is a good thing to mention in a movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And so you know that in the first movie, the planes they flew, all of them, that's the F-14 Tomcat. And at the end of the movie, that's what Maverick and Rooster flew.
Well, there were 3 planes flying to complete the mission, right?
So 4.
4.
But after that, remember when Maverick saved Goose's life, so he had to eject out of his plane.
Yeah.
And then Rooster came back to save him.
Okay, and then the other guy came, the blonde one.
That's
save them.
Rooster.
No, that's not Rooster. The arrogant one.
Oh, Glenn Powell's.
Yeah, Glenn
character.
Powell's. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the way they flew back to the carrier is they stole this enemy aircraft, remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's the F-14 Tomcat, the plane that Tom Cruise and Goose flew in the original Top Gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very old.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's really interesting. Yeah, damn.
Well, the movie just has so many details, and it has a lot of like fan service without feeling too like, because I saw it with people who have not watched the original and they still thought it was great.
Yeah, it was great. It's not so overloaded with
Fan
unneeded
service.
details.
What did you think of Jennifer Connelly as the love interest, Penny Benjamin?
Penny, well, I think she did a great job. Maybe they put a little bit too much screen time onto her.
Yes, I think that there was this scene between her and Maverick, which is the only dull part of the movie. I think it's like 5-minute sequence probably.
What were they doing?
And just having sex.
Well, it was a great movie, even with that. It wasn't that long too, right? How much? 40 minutes.
2 hours and 6 minutes.
2 hours
the
and
whole
6. No, wasn't it 1 hour and 40 minutes?
No, it was like it was really long, but it was so compelling that you couldn't even feel the time passing by.
Right, exactly, right? I thought it was 1 hour and 40 minutes.
By the way, doesn't Glenn Powell just seem like the coolest dude in real life? He just looks like so cool.
Right. Well, I haven't seen him in real life. Of course, obviously. But yeah, from the photos, yeah.
He's like, his character is surprisingly likable for being what he is.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is something that gets addressed a lot. What do you think of Val Kilmer's cameo?
Who's that?
Iceman.
Iceman. I think that, well, first of all, I didn't expect him to be mute.
He's not exactly mute. So basically, what happened is
Yeah, he had some throat problems, something like this.
throat cancer.
Cancer. Was it okay? He had cancer.
Yeah, and the actor had it in real life as well. He barely survived.
Really? Well, that's like an Easter egg, right?
Yeah, they tied his throat cancer battle into the movie.
Well, it was really interesting, and there were some very, very strong moments.
Yeah.
When he wrote on the keyboard, because of course we didn't want to waste time with this conversation, so it had to be really direct and straightforward for the viewers to understand
Yes.
it. And it was just
Well-
like, there was also this meme coming up. I didn't ask, right? You know it from TikTok.
Oh
And
yeah.
so when he say you should come here, and Maverick was like, I'm busy, and he said, I didn't ask. Something like this. That was really funny. I wondered
Yeah.
if this was on purpose for the meme, but no. He was just higher in the hierarchy.
Yeah, well, Val Kilmer's real like battle with throat cancer was really heartbreaking. I like read this article a while ago about him watching like food channels and recipes, urging for the day he'll be able to eat again.
Well, I wish to nobody to ever have cancer. Well,
Yeah, it just
it doesn't matter
it's-
what kind. No cancer.
Yeah, thankfully he's better now. He can like talk. Seen a few interviews with him.
Well, I hope he's doing good. Yeah.
I hope that too. He's really, his character like was so touching, and his death was also like, it hit me. The funeral is emotional.
Well, let's change the topic. How much would you rate Top Gun?
I may get controversy for this, but I think it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I'll give it
Yes.
a solid 8 for an action movie. Yeah.
Really? 8?
8.
You rank it lower than like the Batman?
How did...
I think you did like a 8.
Well, the story itself didn't have any meaning. It was just really for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Well,
why.
the way I rank these movies is just purely based on how much I enjoyed the movie.
Well, I enjoyed it like 9.5 out of 10.
Yes.
There were some moments where I was just a little bit bored. Yeah. But
For me, there was only one moment.
if we're talking about entertainment from the movie, yes, it was on a whole new level for an action movie without being
Yeah.
a comedy.
Well, yeah, because you might be surprised, but I saw this movie 3 times in theaters, and that's so far. And every time I've seen it, I have found new details, Easter eggs, and I've been absolutely compelled by the story time and time again, and by how well it all comes together into what I would call a cinematic masterpiece.
Oh yeah. But if we're talking about the story and the moral of the story, there wasn't
Yeah.
much to think about. But still, if you're talking about entertainment, enjoyment, fulfillment, then yes, I think it did a really good job.
Well, yeah, but like rewatching the first Top Gun, which was 3 months ago, got me back into the whole fighter jet thing. So I actually bought this game on sale like a day ago. It's called Ace Combat 7, and I played Ace Combat X on my PlayStation Portable, and it's just so much fun. I went to this Avio show here in Bulgaria, demonstrations of our entire fleet of military aircraft. Spoiler alert, it's not very large. The whole country has like 4 fighters operational, and then 6 attackers, but we have 8 F-16s arriving in 2 years, so fingers crossed for that. And I think this movie was also like, it got me, what's the word, inspired. It inspired me to get more into knowing these kind of things.
Well, that's a great thing. I mean, if a certain story can inspire you to be more curious, thoughtful, or whatever, if it makes you take action, then it means it's a really great story.
Yeah.
Yeah. no matter how tragic it is a good story.
Exactly. And I wanted to say this movie also did a great job of having a lot of planes appear in it. So at the beginning, we had the Dark Star. Then we had the F-35, just no one flying it, but just like it launching. We had the F-18, which they flew. The F-14, which they got back in. Russia's fifth generation fighter.
And the
That's
one
the
they stole
Su-57.
also. The one they stole.
Yeah, that's the one they came back in. That's what I
F-18.
meant.
Yeah. No, 35.
No, the F-14.
14.
F-14.
Okay. 14.
The old one, the F-14 Tomcat, and the Su-57 or like some weird looking CGI recreation of it. So just to clear things up, fifth generation fighters. They're like the latest gen of military fighters. Only a few countries have developed them. America has two, the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning. Russia has the Su-57 and Japan has the J-20, I believe it's called. And we also at the end of the movie, if you cut it, you could see Maverick and Penny flying in this like older World War II plane. That's the P-51 Mustang, legendary plane, which a lot of stuff has been based on.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they have the money and they want to be that authentic to use real planes, then yeah, why not use real planes?
Well, the budget of this movie is also really high, but I think that especially because the lack of VFX and all of this being practical, I think that really is a big part of why I loved it so much.
Well, when I first watched the movie, I didn't think about any VFX, practical effects, any of that sort of post-production. I was just thinking about, do I really like this movie or not? And the answer was yes. So, for me, VFX weren't a thing that made me like the movie more or not.
Yes, but it really didn't have anything that looked bad because it was all real.
Yeah, nothing looked bad. And actually, in 4DX, the effects from the cinema itself really contributed to the experience.
They did.
Yeah.
They definitely did, actually. And I think even the training sessions had some really good moments.
Training sessions, those, I don't know why, but I felt very, there was this tension between them, who is going to be better than the other. And that, I think, is what kept them being so interesting.
I definitely agree. And, like, even the moment of... So what happened is first, this guy, I think it was Payback, who blacked out. And he nearly died. And then there was a bird strike, which is like, props to them for including that. A bird strike is actually something that happens in real life. It's when birds get into the engines. And what happened is Phoenix and Bob, they were going to die. And their like will to save the aircraft almost killed them. And at that point, Maverick was shouting like, eject, eject, because he has like tragic experience. But I think this really well contrasts the difference between an experienced pilot like Maverick with over 40 years of service and the still very skilled but newer pilots like Phoenix and Bob.
Yeah, but you know what was also very interesting? Most of those recruits for this mission, they were very arrogant. They thought they were the best flighters. And so then Maverick comes up and they're, I'm going to show you who's the boss here. And then he just...
Yeah, that was really satisfying.
Then he was just like, I'm going to be chill with you guys. And he taught them so much. So much.
Yeah, and I really appreciated even not the action parts of an action movie, which is a rarity. I loved the beach scene where they play some sort of made up football game and the song by One Republic in the background. Oh my god.
This song, it is really good. I listened to it after that.
Oh, me too. The whole score and soundtrack of the movie was just as good as the first one. And it had, I think, the perfect amount of nostalgia and, like, recurring themes and original stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what people are trying to do now, right?
Yeah, well, it was actually...
Actually, I wanted to say, you know how in movies which are, let's say, 200 years ago, people still want to make them look modern. That's strange.
Yeah. I know. Well, this movie was scored by the original composer, Harold Faltermeyer, along with Hans Zimmer. And I mean, Hans Zimmer is Hans Zimmer. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Hans Zimmer. If you don't know who he is, then you've definitely watched the movies he has composed for.
He is
That's a fact.
amazing.
That's a fact. He's like one of the greatest people to ever live in this world nowadays.
Yes, he's like, along with John Williams, he's probably my favorite composer.
He's my favorite, top one.
Yeah. Well, I think. Do you have anything more to say about this movie in general?
No. I just want to say that if you haven't watched it, then you should definitely watch it.
You should definitely just run to the theater right now and watch it. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, you should definitely listen to some other episodes of this podcast. That would be a great help to us.
For sure. Also contact us if you want to make an Umbrella Academy episode.
And like, also just subscribe to the podcast. That does a lot in general.
Because
you can subscribe
why not?
to our YouTube channel.
Why not? Why not to subscribe?
Yeah, well, what will it cost you? Nothing.
Yeah. But of course, subscribe only if you want to, okay?
Yeah, it's very voluntary. So until the next episode, have a nice day and
drink a lot of food.
Eat a lot of food.
And eat a lot of food and drink a lot of water. Bye.
Bye.